Thank you. Mr. Chief Barker, fellow guests, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like a dartboard. But I would like to thank the wonderful speakers here today. I'd like to thank Roy. Thank you very much for your semi-kind words. I'd like to remind you that I still have some super glue in the dressing room tonight. Watch the tap shoes. George, thank you for your nice words, and great to see the suit again. Barry, thank you very much. I do remember you and Annie in the chorus at, the Savoy Theatre, Espresso Bongo. She told me yesterday that you both retired at the height of your career. And Lenny, you swine. Lenny Bennett. We had some great times together as acquaintances. I remember the two of us were in Aberdeen, of all places. It was shut. And he and we was in a motel playing two-handed poker. This, I promise you, is true. And Lenny, I'm here to remind you that you lost to me your house, a half-a-page advert in the Stage, and Poland. I'm still waiting for the half-a-page advert in the Stage. But well, that's where it ends. I mean, I don't want to get myself involved in tackling the talents of the gentlemen that have spoken here today, because as an old comedian once said to me, he said, when you're in the company of comedians, it is very wise to keep a still head. He said, comedy, he said, is the second oldest profession, which, like the first, is being ruined by amateurs. So I'll just spend this honour, Mr. Chief Barker, I'll spend it reflecting, I suppose is the word. Sort of trying to remember here today how I came into show business, or how I came to show business. I remember when I was much younger than my little daughter here, I was not of a show business family. I believed that to be in show business, you had to be born in a trunk on tour somewhere, and your parents were Dick Powell and Mickey Rooney. I thought that you was born to the profession. And so I so much wanted to be part of this mellifluous society. And being a kid, and being where I lived, it wasn't possible for me to go to theatres, and so I really didn't know what theatres were like. So I played a dream game. My dream game was every Saturday morning I used to go to the corner of Tower Bridge Road and Bermondsey Street in Bermondsey, and there used to be on the corner a hoarding for posters, and it was right between the police station and the Salvation Army hostel, and this big hoarding was there, and every Saturday morning along came the bill posters, and they'd take down the old bill of the London Palladium, and up would go the next bill advertising the Palladium variety show for the following week. And my dream game was to sit and look at this poster and look at the bill matter that all the acts used to have on the poster. There used to be Igor Gridneff, the Ladder Man, Elizabeth and Collins, Death on a Tightrope. The great Pellini fills the stage with inanimates. I used to just sit there and imagine myself in those acts. I didn't know what they did, but I used to work it out, you know, ladders and inanimates. And I used to imagine myself assisting magicians and comedians and singers and dancers. And then all of a sudden, 25 years on, I'm here. And it's very strange, you know, when you think of the things that's happened to me since I stood on the corner of Bermondsey Street and Tower Bridge Road. I think, I don't know, of the first day I ever went on the stage, it was for my godfather of the theatre sitting here, Mr. Fielding. 1956 at the Sunderland Empire, I walked onto the stage for the first time in my life. There was me, an electric guitar, and a fireman in full uniform. True, I used to stand there playing all this heavy rock, and he stood behind me with a fire bucket and a blanket, because they really believed that electric music was going to set the place on fire. This is true. And then there was my first appearance on television, which was the same year. I appeared on the BBC, a show called Off the Record, which has been mentioned here today by Ned, chaired, led, presented by the doyen of British music, Jack Payne. Jack Payne used to wear tails, a white tie, a carnation, and carried a baton, which he used as a threat. And he walked up to the microphone, this was live television, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Rabbits and Landau. We now come to rock and roll. Personally, I find it distasteful, but there's Tommy Steele anyway." And then, after that, there came my first musical, again, for Mr. Fielding, Cinderella, Rosalind Hammerstein, and these are little memories that keep coming back, you know. I was on the stage at the first rehearsal, and the great man, Oscar Hammerstein, came onto the stage, and he said, "Excuse me, I can't believe that I wrote these words that you're singing up here." I wrote, "Far from flimsy, fancy negligee, what I'm getting is out of Mongolian. Do you think you could concentrate on my lyrics, please? Because surely you must admit that my knowledge of British grammar is, well, it's known throughout the world, and I'd like you to concentrate, please, for my sake." So I said, "Of course, Mr. Hammerstein, your knowledge of British grammar is known throughout the world." And I quote, "There ain't nothing like a dame." We became great friends after that. He never could remember or understand a word, and I still can't do that "far from flimsy, fancy negligee," but, you know, that's all part of growing up, isn't it? And then there was Shakespeare. Again, it was referred to. I was doing a play with Joan Plowright, Sir Alec Guinness, and Sir Ralph Richardson. And after the performance, I was in my dressing room getting ready. I promise you it's quite true. The door opened. Laurence Olivier walked in. Oh, I can't tell you. I was looking in the mirror at him. I was frightened to turn around. He just stood looking in the mirror, and he went, "I've just seen your performance." And I said, "Yes?" He said, "You wear a wig better than any actor I've ever met." Anyway, I'm here, and it's a great honor, Mr. Chief Barker, and if you don't mind, in closing, I'd like to propose a personal toast, indulge myself, if you don't mind. I'd like to offer you, sir, a toast, and your fellow Barkers in the Variety Club, and thanks for this lovely honor. I'd like to thank my wife for our love and our life together. I'd like to thank that little boy on the corner of Towerbridge Road and Bermondsey Street for his dreams. And I'd like to thank you, the public, for making it all possible. Thank you very much.